Vishakhapatnam incident is a very sad incident, and it is a blot on the education system. And what happened was that uh, the teacher got angry on a 6-year-old child, and he didn't because he didn't do his homework, and so the teacher got angry and disappointed. Now it is very important to understand that the child has a very small world. Like for him or her, the child, the world is very small. His world is his parents, his brother, his whoever he takes validation from. Like the teacher is one sort of when he enters the school, the teacher is one sort of a validation point that I am, I'm doing right, or I belong to this world. So this psychology has to be understood. That the the worldview of the child is very small, and they are not like they're not like us, who would release their stress by watching comedy shows, and they don't have much sources. Their perspective is very limited, and they rely on them a lot. That is why they get very emotional. They get sad by looking their parents sad. So obviously what happened in this case was that the teachers got very he the teacher, she got very angry, and this made the kid feel very discomfortable, and he got he felt like he's a small world, the part of a small world. It broke apart. He felt like if the teacher is getting breaking apart, then my world is getting apart, and I'm no more, means I do not no more belong to this world. So this is what it is very this is a very important aspect, that the vulnerabilities, that is why we call the children are vulnerable, because their worldview is very small. And we should I think that the education system should focus more on this thing, that we should not force the kids to do homework, to cram or to memorize things. Rather they should be engaged in community things. Like if you ask a kid to wash, to clean the table, or to arrange the chalk box, or to walk properly in a line, they would do it happily, because they would feel a sense of belongingness, that we are all equal. मेरे को I feel that that in a childhood, no child wants to feel like isolated. This identity thing develops later, very later. This arrogance thing in childhood, everyone wants to be treated equally. If you disbalance this thing, they would notice it. They would they would feel that there's something wrong in his small world. So that's what happened in this case, I feel. And that I'm reminded of the education system of Japan. I learned somewhere, I read somewhere that the till the age of 10 years, elementary school, they are not engaged in, they're not allowed, they are engaged mostly in community works, to clean things, to clean the dust, to arrange the tables of class, to walk in line properly. So a lot of things which makes a sense of community. That is what I think it is important in the early childhood days. And there's no need to build an ego chamber inside the child from such an early age. So education system must look into this. But this was a very sad incident.